Welcome back to Turf Talk Classic Horse of the Year edition. And James, it might not come down to the Breeders' Cup Classic depending on who wins, but obviously there's a few horses in there. If they do win, they're going to be Horse of the Year.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, the big favorite is going to be Gun Runner, as well as the Baffert Older horses, Irrigated and Collected. They're all in the mix for it. And I even think a 3-year-old like West Coast, if he was to win, he would have a valid argument.
If he wins, he's at least my Horse of the Year.
Right.
Would get my vote without question. Collected. To me, if he won, he would need Beach Patrol and World Approval to lose. I would probably vote for one of them if they were to win the turf over Collected. But the other, Gun Runner, certainly, Irrigate and West Coast would get my vote. Gun Runner, I do think is the most likely favorite. I think there is a chance Irrigate ends up favored, though. Do you think there's any chance of that?
I really don't. I think Gun Runner is going to take. I do think Irrigate will be the second choice in the wagering, but I think they'll be close on the morning line. But I'm still leaning towards Gun Runner.
All right. Well, I mentioned World Approval. He's in the mile. Beach Patrol's in the turf. I do think both have their work cut out for them. If either wins, certain champion male turf, without a doubt. Maybe Horse of the Year, depending on what happens in the Classic. The turf, to me, goes through the European horses, Ulysses and Highland Reel.
Absolutely.
I really need to see something in the next week for me to go any deeper than those two on most of my tickets. The mile, which kicks off the late pick 4 that ends in the Classic, I think is much more, to use a cliche, wide open. Heart to Heart is going to be on all of my tickets, and I know you have thought as well.
Yeah, I mean, I respect Heart to Heart. I mean, he's in great form, and he's going to be the front runner, a horse to catch. But I'm keen on this French horse, Zelzal, and I'll tell you why. I think he has hidden form this year in his starts. His last 2 races last year, he was on the verge of like a real breakthrough in Europe. He won this great Group 1 Grand Prix Pratt in July by going away by open lens. Generated a ton of buzz. He got hurt in his next start, didn't run again until this summer, came back with a real good second to a next out group stakes winner, and then caught absolute boggish conditions. His turn of foot has been electric on firm, good turf. He's going to get the right conditions, and I think he's going to be overlooked in the wagering. And another facet is the last 7 internationals to win the mile were based in France. There hasn't been an English-based mile winner since like the early 90s, mid-90s. And, he's just got, I think, a little bit of, he's got a lot of class, a lot of, and he's not going to be overlooked in the betting.
Yeah, well, I think he will be overlooked because I hadn't heard of him until you mentioned to me 10 minutes ago. Yeah. So, not that I'm the bastion of international racing. Yeah.
And let me just say, though,
what's Kelly Riley think?
Exactly.
Is what I really want to know.
She was like, we have Kelly Riley. I highly suggest anybody wants international information for the Breeders' Cup, go check out her work at the Twin Spires blog and at bristnet.com. She's been studying these horses, for all year long. And, she basically, gave me the... told me about Zelzal first. So I've been on his bandwagon the last few days, but obviously I've talked to Kelly several times.
Yeah, well, it's, all 13 races seem to have drawn well, some 20-plus pre-entries, but this late pick 4 with the mile, sprint, turf, and classic, I think it's likely a favorite will win somewhere of the 4, but... I think it'll pay what I used to say super signer $5,000 plus. This year, that's not the case because of the new tax rules. So, great time to jump into these pools.
I agree with your turf sentiments. The Euros have won 7 of the last 9 runnings of the Breeders' Cup turf, and Ulysses and Highland Reel are the clear horses to beat. I mean, I'd give World Approval a better chance than Beach Patrol to win. I mean, he's a legitimate contender, even though I'm making a case for Zelzal, and there's some really good horses in there. But World Approval's obviously. I think he can hold his own against anybody.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week at Del Mar with some final official picks and wagering strategy and all that. And looking forward to seeing if you stand pat on Zelzal.
Zelzal.